7, 6. Hey world, it's Tobo. It is September the 19th of 2015, and welcome back to the party. We still don't have the PAX update. That should be coming within a couple of days, theoretically.
We said that last week, though, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, last week we said end of the week, I think.
Yeah. Or Monday or Tuesday without the latest, and now it's been a full week. I wasn't really sure exactly when we get it. I thought it might drift into Wednesday or something, but I didn't think we'd still be waiting at this point.
Yeah.
But it sounds like some major bugs were fixed. Actually, one was posted in the bugs forum just now. The skating late in game issue has been fixed.
Oh, nice.
In addition to all the other ones. So it sounds like we're not only are we going to get a number of big updates here, and obviously the new art map and the characters, but on top of that, we're going to get some long-awaited bug fixes. So this should be a very nice update when it does finally come.
Yes, when it comes around, it'll be a good one.
Worth the wait.
Absolutely. Basically, every Spy Party update is worth the wait. The Spy Party update, Checker puts out some amazing updates.
Right, yeah, and there have been a lot of them lately, so this is very understandable, hopefully this coming week.
Indeed. Today we are casting KCM versus Virifaux in the same weird collateral damage game type. Checker on Tuesday says later this week. Well, that didn't quite happen, so hopefully start of next week.
The weekend's possible, I guess. I don't know if he's ever released a major build on a weekend, though. I think he's always made a point to do it on weekdays for one reason or another, but I could be misremembering there.
Yeah. Maybe he actually takes weekends off sometimes.
What? No, come on.
Anyways, so the game type, and both of these gentlemen have played it before on cast. Not like literally on cast, but we cast them playing it. The game type is, I don't think we have a name for it, I'm just calling it collateral damage, where they said 3 civilians in 16 games, which I'm assuming means first to 8, and what that means is within that first to 8, if you shoot a total of 3 civilians, you immediately lose.
Right. Well, first of all, I like the name collateral damage. I don't think we're going to top that. So I'm going with that unless someone comes up with something better. Viri mentioned on Twitter that it was first to 9. But other than that, dead on.
First to 9, civilians. Okay.
Yeah, but you're right absolutely about the all or nothing aspect, and that's really the important part, right?
Yeah.
Is you can't afford to shoot 3 civilians. And as we talked about last week too, even getting to 2 sort of handcuffs you. So you really only get 1 freebie before you have to start being incredibly careful.
Indeed. So yeah, very exciting stuff. The only thing I want to say before we get things started is that we do have our finalists for the Spy Party Summer Cup, and those are Crazy Kaylee and Wodar.
Yeah, it's Wodar. Wodar scored a big upset over KCM. Kaylee and I were casting it at the time. It was very exciting, a lot of high drama. Obviously, I've given away the result, but don't let that spoil it for you. It's worth going back to watch the cast and see some of the moves they both pull out of their hats. Very close around the end, some big-time play in crunch time in particular, and very close match as well. So I would definitely check it out.
Indubitably. All right, so let's get into the cast here. As we said, collateral damage. Starting things off with a clean sheet, for both players. Totally expected by everyone. Thanks, Wodar. Once again, do not be alarmed when the frames start dropping, because they will. Likely not too many, but they will be dropping. But we are going to get into this right here, starting things off on Ballroom any 4 of 8. And if I remember from last time, it's the player who spies first on the map that chooses what the map and the game mode are, right?
I think you're right. I don't know if they actually specified it this time, but I think that's correct, yes.
All right, cool. We're just going to assume that's what's happening. So it's Viri starting things off on Ballroom any 4 of 8 in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Any 4 of 8, of course, means every single one of the missions are available.
Right, and I think this is what the meta's been moving towards for a while.
Yeah.
Way back when, it was even all the way as low as 4 of 6. 4 of 7 replaced that pretty quickly, and it's been there for a while. But I think at this point, snipers are good enough that at high levels, 4 of 8's what you want to do.
Yep, indeed. When the snipers start winning a lot, just give them more to look at.
Right, which means they better not win 4 of 8 too much, because there's really nowhere to go yet.
Well, until we get more new missions in.
Until we get new missions in, yeah.
That early highlight for statues is a little bit rough, but he's going again relatively quickly, and that can throw off some snipers sometimes. Actually does hit a green swap as well, which is interesting. Might even be able to get a bug on the way out. Does he go for it? He does not.
Wow, prime opportunity. And might be suspected for it anyway, just for walking by him so close. It's one of those things where you might even say, you know, you might as well, because they're going to think you could have.
White test on the BB. Don't worry, guys. I fixed casting mode.
There's the countdown.
There is the countdown on that
doesn't have
green
time.
swap. Yep, the purloin has come off, and there's just no time. And that's going to be a really nice little win from Viri to start things off.
Yeah, and you could see what happened there, right? KCM notices what happened. He lowlights the person who rejects the drink right after. So he's noticed the guest list is gone, and he's probably pretty much on to red dress. What he hasn't done is it hasn't occurred to him, well, or at least he hasn't judged as likely that Viri could actually be done with that mission.
Right.
Quickly. That's the virtue of the rush, is that even if they quote-unquote catch you doing the final mission, they have to really catch it, like red-handed, in order to actually shoot. Otherwise, they're gonna bide their time and wait for you to confirm it. But if that's your final mission, if you've rushed another hardtail earlier, then you just go ahead and win.
And especially in this game type, when snipers are so worried about taking the wrong shot, because taking a bad shot this early can be catastrophic later on.
Right, yeah, you could actually say this points more towards camping. In particular, Viri is playing this exactly the right way, which is that you want to force him to take those difficult shots where he's pretty sure it's you but not positive. You want him to keep doing that. And KCM, or the sniper I should say rather, in each game, has to counteract that by watching those more and more closely, because the hardtails are the only way you can ever be sure, and it's really important that you catch them when you're sure.
Indeed. Alright, let's get into the next one here. KCM on the spy roll this time around. Virifaux on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
It's very cool in that first game to see that already the strategy from the first time they played this new game mode is starting to update. They're starting to realize how you ought to play, what you ought to force the sniper to do, things like that. We're watching the meta evolve before our very eyes.
Absolutely. The green time ad for KCM off the top. That will buy him a little bit more time. Oh, missing the pad! Oh, noes! He's playing it cool, though.
Plays it cool, that's the thing. And we talked about this last time, too. Time ad's another one of the things you want to do as a spy, because they're not really hardtails. It's hard to be positive about a time ad, so they're probably underutilized here.
Indeed.
Like the rushes and the hardtails, you want to also be doing time ads.
Absolutely. Because green time ads especially can really throw snipers off if they see someone check their watch and then look at the clock when the green timeout has already gone off. Sometimes they think that's when it started, and then...
Right. Yeah. Even the white time ads are probably pretty safe for the most part. No one's going to want to shoot for something like that. But the green, if you can consistently hit the green time ads, you should absolutely be doing it.
God dang, though, that green purloin at the painting into the BB. This is going to be almost impossible for Viri to track, especially after that reject.
They are both playing spy the same kind of way. They're being aggressive and they're forcing the sniper's hand. They both seem to have figured out that this is how you want to play spy in this game mode.
And he does see that the list is gone now, at least not there. Now
well, there it is. By the way, looking in very closely, but it was literally impossible from his angle to see whether it was green or white. He just doesn't know. There's no way he can know.
Who does he think did it? Oh, and the spy gets neutral it here.
Yeah, that's a little quirking path, little quirky path there, maybe.
Win for KCM, right?
You have to think so. Here it comes. Although, nobody has highlights and lowlights that mean less about what he's about to shoot than Viri. But yeah, it looks like he's getting away with it.
Barely got in that 3 cycle, but it is going to be enough, and KCM is able to find the win on the missions to answer back to Virifaux there.
Yeah, this is an interesting mode because you're going to see more spy mission wins just by the very nature, the downside of shooting wrong. On the other hand, I think that the fact that it's first to 9, 3 civilian shots, that's kind of a lot actually for such a small number of wins required. I actually feel like maybe they're not being aggressive enough now. They seem to understand the basic premise of the game mode, and they're playing aggressive as spy and careful as sniper correspondingly. But I actually feel like they could both stand to be a little more aggressive because I think in both these games, the spy was a top suspect,
Yeah.
but was let go just to play it safe.
Indeed. So it'll be interesting to see how this game type evolves the more it gets played, because
Yeah.
this 3 civilian shots, just because of how huge the punishment is, feels terrifying.
Yeah,
But
you know,
it's not that bad, really.
absolutely. We talk about the meta in this game a lot and about how if a certain mission is too easy, the sniper knows to look for it more, so it's a little bit self-balancing.
Indeed.
That's true to a degree, but there are still missions where they can know you're going to do them, and you still can't watch them the whole time, and they're still going to get away with them. This mode actually is it seems actually producing more Yomi than the normal game ever could.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
because of the asymmetric cost of losing one way versus another. It's asymmetry within asymmetry now.
Yeah.
And it's the number of permutations, the number of game theory aspects to this are just mind-boggling. So, yeah, it's entirely possible that you could see a lot of back and forth between how aggressive the spy is versus how aggressive the sniper is, and then double back again the other way.
Yeah. This could actually wind up being a cool mechanic to try putting in the game for, like, if you wanted to get a ladder or something like that going.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it's
see.
easy to fit into the canon too. I mean, okay, you're a secret agent and everything, but if you go around shooting civilians left and right, you're going to draw way too much attention to the agency. So it'd be very easy to fold this into a story mode, even if you want.
Absolutely. That being said, it's KCM's turn to start things off on the spiral. He has picked Gallery, any 4 of 7 for the game mode, and has taken off Fingerprint.
Fingerprint, yeah.
So we'll see how this turns out for him in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Actually gets dropped at red bookcase immediately. Might be able to get away with pulling this out, but the seduction target decides to say hi. This is a very nice start for KCM.
Not bad at all. Third person to bookshelves, though, but the third one is the ambassador. It's obviously, you know, it looks worse if you're the third person, the spy, going to bookshelves. On the other hand, when you get a third person, wow, nice bug.
Oh,
when you get a
that
third person,
bug!
it usually means the spy is one of them,
Yeah.
if not the third. But you see a tremendous amount of variance between top snipers and how much they even bother to look for that. I like to look for it a lot. Some top snipers don't bother with it at all, think it's a waste of time because most of the time it's nothing. So you really don't know, even against a really good sniper, whether or not you can get away with that.
Absolutely. This is such a fast start for KCM. He's got his flirt done with 2 flirts. He's got the bug done. He's got the BB done. Now all he has to do is put this microfilm back in the blue bookcase, and that's it. He's done.
Yeah. Now, Viri might catch him on this. He was looking pretty close in there the entire time he was at red bookshelves. I don't know if he was looking there specifically, but he definitely had the opportunity to notice.
Yeah, but the thing is, he didn't just do the hard transfer, right? He actually took the microfilm out.
Right, but I don't know what he's suspicious of at that point. Oh, wow, he's taking the book away.
Oh, misses the pad again. He's trying to get himself in there. There it is.
No,
oh no! Oh no! Oh, he tried doing the microphone.
All over it.
No, no! Oh god!
Oh jeez.
Oh no! Tried so
that's
hard.
rough. I think we were looking like we were cruising towards another spy mission win there. You know, looking really good. I think maybe just a little too creative, trying to do the microfilm that way as opposed to the normal way.
Yeah.
And again, knowing how low the sniper is going to be to shoot. You know, unless that you really catch you in that microfilm, you're probably going to get away with it there. Yeah. So if you get even just a little bit of, you know, visual blockage, hit the green or something, even if they're looking in closely, unless they really catch it, you're probably going to get away with that.
Yeah. But, like, you could tell when the zoom in happened. Like, Viri knew as soon as he started reading in a full conversation, he was like, that can't happen.
Yeah, it looks like he missed the pad intentionally, which obviously at first it looked like he missed the pad, but when he went into the microfilm, it became obvious what he was doing. But
I haven't seen that strat in a very long time.
I think he thought he had a little more cover based on the angle.
Yeah.
Viri, as it turns out, was very far to the left. Farther to the left than the sniper usually is. Usually they get a little more to the right so that they can see everything.
Indeed.
But he wasn't. So I think maybe in this case, actually, he was perhaps already looking for it.
Yeah, I think so. So, let's see if Viri can actually put himself up here on the spy side. KCM on the sniper. Let's get this thing underway in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, it's still early in this game mode, but you could say, maybe, based on what we've seen, that actually losing as spy is pretty significant. That you should usually win as spy in this game mode, at least in the first handful of games. So the idea of holding serve, sort of, on sniper is kind of flipped on its head here.
Yeah.
Maybe a very big deal now that Viri, he might have already won the hard part, in other words, these 2 games, and now is very likely to take the lead.
It's hard to say, but
It's hard to say.
we shall find out as this game mode gets played more. Viri does manage to start off with a 51% flirt, which is very nice, so we'll see how that goes as he plays things relatively slowly throughout.
Yeah, not rushing it like he did last time. There's the purloin.
Indeed, purloin does come off. It was white though, so
I think he saw it, but I'm just not seeing a lot of highlighting or low lighting, so I'm not really sure when he saw it exactly.
No, I think it was just then that he saw it because KCM usually low lights Toby pretty much immediately. And Viri is looking quite... Yeah, KCM looks like he's floundering just a little bit. Almost low-lit Viri there.
Yeah, there was a lot of twitching around there, and I expected to see a lot of highlights and lowlights come off, but it didn't happen until later, which makes me think he didn't see the purloin when it first happened.
Indeed. Viri's actually in a very dominant position here. No light. BB and purloin done. 85% on the flirt. Going for a timer flirt here as well.
I don't think he knows he's in a dominant position, though. As far as he knows, he got a white purloin, he decided to play it cool, and he saw the cursor move around a lot. So, for all he knows, he's down to 1 or 2 or 3 people. He has no way of knowing, really, otherwise.
That's the terrifying thing about playing Spy in this game, is that you really just have no way of knowing.
Yeah, and look at that. Takes another drink. Really seems like something you would do if you thought you were a big suspect and you wanted to shed a little suspicion before you finished your missions.
Absolutely. The double sip there is a little weird, though.
Yeah, can't do inspect, by the way. A reminder, can't do inspect in...
Oh, the bug!
Did not take
the bug attempt!
Shot anyway. Wow. I don't know what kind of position he was in there anyway. It looked pretty good, but there were a decent number of lowlights. He couldn't inspect in one move, so he wasn't that close.
Yeah.
Can't resist that side bug, though.
I think, actually, what happened there was he took the sip at the painting and then saw the Amba coming from all the way down outside and realized he had a chance, so he chugged the rest of his drink. I think maybe KCM noticed something funny going over there, so he looks over, and then the bug happens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, interesting stuff. But we are 2-2 with no civilian shots after gallery. So, stepping into the balcony set, it is going to be Viri who took the pick on this one. Probably looking to see if he can get some civilians shot here. It's going to be balcony, any 2 of 3. Viri starting on the spy. KCM on the sniper. Nothing weird going on in the missions. Want to do this at 2 times speed?
Sure.
Alright, 2 times speed. It shall be in 3, 2, 1. Oh god. Playing it.
It's always faster than I remember.
Yes. Same here. Okay. Not in a very good position for the first
For anything,
flirt.
yeah.
Yeah, for literally anything.
Wow. Maybe for the BB, but decides not to do it.
Yeah, I think just leaving conversation
Feels like fishing for a low light, and it works.
Yeah, leaving conversation before he talks, gets himself a low light and 34% on the flirt, but no matter how nice of a move it was, he's quite a ways behind. Only 50 seconds left to play as that second flirt comes off, 68%. He is going to need to get pretty close. He's going to need to get a green test to finish this up. Yeah, it's true. He doesn't even have the BB.
Why not be aggressive, though? Everything he did in the beginning of the game indicates that he wanted to get the low light, and he had some reason to think he might, so why not go for it?
BB comes off, and there's the wrong shot! KCM!
works just as well. It would have been very interesting to see what would have happened if he hadn't shot the seduction target, because I think he might have just gotten that flirt in under the wire, but it's hard to say. But he does the simple trick. You know, he's in the conversation, everyone's in there, there's no BB. He leaves without talking or BBing or anything at all, and gets low lit for it.
I'm sure that was completely planned. Like, I guarantee that Viri was going into that game gunning to get one of the civilians shot.
Right, and I gotta say, 9 times out of 10, I don't think that's a good move, but I will say that when it is, it's usually on balcony.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like, that's what I mean.
To decide from the get-go, I don't like to decide from the get-go. I like to resort to it if I don't think I'm going to finish on other maps, but on balcony, I think it's much more justifiable to just decide beforehand.
Especially looking at the way it all played out. Viri specifically picked balcony, assuming they're playing the same way they were last time, and he starts with the low-light trick, so I'm pretty sure that's just exactly what he wanted to happen.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, so KCM has his first civilian shot in game number, what is that? Game number 5, I think.
Yeah, not just a loss, also a civilian shot. Big deal.
Viri is probably going to play a relatively safe, might actually just not even bother shooting if he's not very confident, because that would leave him tied up, but ahead on civilian shots.
Right, yes.
We'll see what happens here. KCM on the spiral, again, in the exact mission types you'd expect. Viri on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And he hasn't even taken control yet.
Yeah, might be doing the same kind of thing.
And the end of red.
But remember, he's going to be loath to shoot, so trying to induce a shot, harder than usual in this game.
Does get,
easier in balcony.
I believe, a white BB, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, no flirt done, and he's almost half his time is gone. And there's a red.
Yeah, it looked like an intentional red. Oh, bit of weird pathing issue there, and was able to get the flirt off at the window, so he is on 51 there.
He wants a 2-for, though. If he doesn't hit the green here, he's going to have to hope someone else gets shot.
Have a good night, KCM. Thanks for coming out. Here's the green attempt for the 2-flirt. Doesn't get it!
Does not get it.
Takes the bullet as well. Viri is not only up by 2 games now, but a civilian shot as well.
Yeah, that's a big, big deal. So he's in a very commanding position when you think about it. As we mentioned earlier, the first civilian shot is pretty much a freebie, but even the second puts you in sudden death mode, so you really have to reconsider even more strongly. So the margin is basically already gone at this point for KCM.
Indeed.
He needs to get that back, in other words.
Indeed. And Panop is the place he's going to go to try to do it. So exactly the opposite strategy of Virifaux. Virifaux goes for the smaller map. KCM playing for the bigger one. Let's see how it turns out for him on any 5 of 7. He pulls off swap, interestingly enough.
Very surprising on this map. Very surprising. You'll see fingerprint most commonly, simply because there's a lot of walking around to do, and it's very hard to keep track of the AMBA on a map this size. I think that's probably what you have turned off far more than any other mission, in fact. It's much closer to a consensus than most other maps. But you'll see swap sometimes, yeah. You see it more often when people have to take off 2 missions and they decide to take it off along with inspect. But,
indeed. That being said, fingerprint is effectively impossible for the sniper to find anything on this map.
Right, which means if you manage your time right, you're going to get a free mission, but that's a big if.
Indeed. KCM in the chat before he heads out says, this is the hype game. So without any further ado, let's jump in here. KCM on the, I believe on the spy? Yes, KCM on the spy. Viri on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
At 1-time speed, I hope.
Yep, I am in fact at 1-time speed. I remembered. I did not remember to toggle casting mode. But
so he says hype game, and then he spends the first 20 seconds staring at a painting. I'm going to take his word for it that it's going to get more exciting.
Hype game doesn't necessarily mean hype immediately.
That's true.
Actually, does find a fingerprint on a briefcase here.
Not bad. Oh, and
does get highlight for it though. Very on point with that briefcase.
We've talked about this before, too. Doing the very first fingerprint is a little risky, because that's when they're still likely to be tracking it. They might track it around the end, too, if they think someone's about to finish, but the middle of the game is usually where you get away with it.
No, I think he was just highlight to track it. Oh! The standing still in the middle of nowhere gets the green purloin! What a play!
And right after a neutral light, he might get away with this totally clean.
That is such a sweet
what was that?
move. That I have no idea. That's confusing.
That was less of a sweet move. That was more of a bitter move. And moves too quickly from the pad too. He is all over the place right now.
Yeah. That was unusual to say the least, but I think the reason he went back over there was to try to pick up his second fingerprint on the red bookcase, but too many people got there before him.
Runs off with the blue book, and I'm pretty sure he got away with this totally clean here, too.
Yeah.
I don't think he was seen
Transfer
at all.
right across, left that bookcase really quickly in Viry's view, but didn't get caught out for it, I don't think.
The only reason to leave quickly is if you don't want to be seen at the bookcase at all. In that case, he had already been seen there.
Yeah.
If he wanted to shoot, he could have shot. At that point, you really don't gain anything by hurrying up.
God, man, that purloin was so sweet, though.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, Viry still has Toby Hylett.
Yeah, I think inertia. I don't know. I can't imagine it's a conscious choice.
Maybe he just didn't bother lowlighting him.
I assume he wants to twitch forward for the bug here, but boy, Viry.
Oh, that bug attempt doesn't quite come off. He was in range.
Yeah.
The ambassador left at exactly the wrong time. I don't even think it was a personal space thing. I think it was just, oops, he left.
Just happened to leave. Viry was kind of on it, and we talk about this too, by the way, on Panop, that you always get the bug on this map if you want it. You just have to hang around long enough and wait for them to look away. In that case, though, Viry kind of on him, and the Amba did not cooperate.
And KCM gets the fingerprint at the red bookcase. He's going in for the center statue to finish things up. Not finish things up, because there's no swap.
There's no swap. Yeah, my first thought was inspect swap, and then I thought, no, can't do it. And I wonder if this is one of those moments where you have all these plans when you pick your missions, and then when you actually get in the game, you think, ah, crap, I picked the wrong one.
I don't know, but the BB's right there. He doesn't BB yet.
Yeah, that'll probably do it.
And there it is. BB comes off. Viry's on the other end of the map. He's not even swinging around to look. This is KCM's game. What a play.
And low-lit, for that matter. Okay, so he doesn't get the civilian shot, which is, obviously the ultimate goal there, but he gets the next best thing, which is a nice, clean win.
God damn, that purloin was awesome. That was so awesome.
You can do some very creative things on Panop because they can't see you 2/3 of the time.
Indeed.
It's more about timing than actual execution or playing it cool the whole time. It's not like Ballroom where they can see anything potentially out of the corner of their eyes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm still just kind of in amazement about that purloin. Let's see if Viry can answer back as he steps into the spiral himself. Looking to maybe turn KCM's game type on his head, because KCM, though he is a civilian shot behind, he's also a set behind. So if he can win this, he's back in the thick of things.
Yes. Yeah. This could put him in a commanding position, or not, or it could make it razor thin too.
Indeed. The question is, do you take that shot when you think you have it, but you're not sure?
I think we're getting at the point in the match where it makes more and more sense. Every game that passes, the penalty for being wrong and for losing via civilian matters less and less.
I agree.
It really does. And I think at that point, you want to see them, if they're being perfectly rational, they're going to ramp up their aggressiveness as they go. I think we're at the point now where that 2-game deficit is almost as much a threat as shooting a civilian. So
that being said, this is like, once we're done this game, we're halfway through, theoretically.
Yeah.
So.
But a 2-game deficit, halfway through against a good player, that's gonna look like a very big deficit very soon.
That's true. So, let's see what Viry is able to do on the spiral, and if KCM can tie things back up again. Viry also takes off the swap, interestingly enough, so we'll see what happens here in 3, 2, 1, playing it. You think they have to do that?
I don't know. I mean, it's entirely possible that, yeah, you have to mirror the game mode, sort of a horse-style thing, right? You have to make the same shot I do.
Oh, and the bug! The bug, though!
Immediately!
Just barely on camera!
Wow.
Wow!
What do we keep talking about though? We keep saying you need to be sure, and he was. Gave him a gift there, gave him a sure thing, which is really really what he needs there, not to take that risk. Excellent catch. And by the way, really barely in his view range, on the edge of his peripheral. Just happened to be glancing there. Generally speaking, when it's that far off to the side, you're not actually looking at that. You're usually looking closer to the center of the screen. But in this case, his eyes went. He might have even been baiting it a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It might have been a bait.
Worked beautifully, whatever it was. Either he did a great job of baiting it, or he did a great job of just noticing things on the edge of his vision.
It would have been a sweet move if it was a bait, though, because the distance that he moved, it looks like he's just swinging away to look at something else.
Right, it does look like that, yeah.
Man. God, Panhop was awesome. Alright, so, Viri picks Courtyard 2, any 3 of 4. He's really gunning to make KCM go down on civilians here. He knows he's ahead, and he can afford to take a risk here on the sniper side. So Viri really leveraging his advantage, but this seems like a situation where, as KCM, you just say, I'm not going to shoot. It's just too risky.
Yeah, probably. We're probably still at that point, and especially now that he won that last game. You know, it's funny, his sniper style has to change depending on how far behind he is in the match. So by winning that game, he actually changes the way he ought to play sniper in this one.
It's true. But interestingly enough, KCM is one of those players who is so versatile that he very much can switch up styles like that.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely not about ability. It's more about who's going to have the right high-level strategy. Because we saw in the last match, they both had some very good moves, some very good plays, but neither of them had quite grappled yet with the abstract way to play the game mode.
Indeed.
A couple times. You know, for example, when they would deliberately allowed victories or tried for a sort of a double loss with their with their map mode selection. This time they seem to have a better handle on it. That's what it's really going to be about. It's not just about execution anymore. It's about the high-level decision-making, too.
Indeed. So, stepping into this next game, Viri on the spy, KCM on the sniper. Any 3 of 4 on Courtyard 2 it can be very easily done with just the soft tells. And that's what Viri is going for here. He's got Fingerprint, Seduce, Inspect, and DA on all of the soft tells, and none of the hard ones. I think KCM's just gonna have to not shoot, but we'll see what happens. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, this is a very clear example of picking the missions as part of the high-level strategy we talked about. Put him in the most uncomfortable position possible. On the other hand, what a boon for KCM it'll be.
Time it! Oh my God! Viri throws one away! Just because he's Viri.
What a boon it'll be for him if he can catch him and get a big win here. You know, I'm a little surprised he shot because there was one more person at windows, and it's just so hard to be positive unless you're explicitly looking for it. But maybe he was. Great choice. Flips Viri's game mode on its head there.
That was so awesome.
Big win. Big win.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it was a bad decision, though. I think the timeout was a fine choice. You just have to tip your cap to KCM for catching it anyway. But I like putting that pressure on him, making him do that. I think the timeout is worth the risk, even though that time it didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. Like on that game type, I really don't think you need it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he needed it exactly, but in generally speaking, anything you can do to make that that they can't be positive was you know, that falls short of a hard tell completely, is the kind of thing you want to be laying on them right now to push them in those difficult decisions. But as we see, you have to become more aggressive as you go anyway, and I think KCM has realized that, and he takes the shot.
That was sweet. Oh man, KCM is playing on fire these last few games.
Yes.
Let's see if Viri can answer back. He's probably gonna try. He's got a little bit of a buffer. Let's see if he's able to get something done here on Courtyard 2. Any 3 of 4 soft tells. Jesus. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think it's interesting that, you know, Viri is very clearly trying to, A, not lose by the civilian deaths, and B, trying to win by them. It doesn't know, it almost seems like he's not content to just win. It seems like he specifically wants to win with the civilian deaths. But I don't think this game mode's like that. I think if people keep playing it, you're almost never going to see losses from the civilian shots. What you're going to see is people playing normal games differently because of the threat of civilian shots, which is a little different. It's like if the penalty for something is harsh enough, it never actually comes up, but what it does is it forces people to not come anywhere near invoking the penalty.
Absolutely.
That's usually the real effect, but it seems like Viri would really wants to win a certain way here.
And in the red.
And he's certainly playing this slowly. He gets a very nice BB off, only lets off a single low light as far as I can tell.
Still got as much time as he would if you were trying to do 4 or 5 missions, so might as well space it out a little bit.
Indeed. Innocent drink take as well. And actually, Dots is looking pretty suspicious on there. Possible BB split into statues? That's a very spy-like move. And then back to the same combo she came from.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't know if KCM's going to notice who would make for a good frame target, but if he does, he could take advantage.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, she gets neutral it, which is interesting.
Yeah, hanging out with the same person, conversation, unless that's the seduction target, he's going to...
Oh, what?!
What a shot!
Holy crap!
Now, there was a little stutter step into the... Well, it wasn't really a stutter step, but it looked like one from Viri's perspective for some reason.
Well,
I'm not sure why.
Let me back up and have a look at that.
He didn't actually make a mistake, but just something about it when walking in from the side.
Oh, yeah, just kind of scoots along the side of the Amba there.
Yeah, that didn't look great, and I think that made it pretty suspicious. And Viri's also thinking, hey, I've got a shot to give. Yeah. I've got the lead. And, you know, if I'm going to shoot in this game mode, I'm not going to be sure anyway. So, wow, very impressive shot. And Viri in a commanding position now.
Man, that's not commanding. It's 5-5.
No, I know, but when you factor in the civilian thing, and frankly, just the psychological impact of catching him in that game
That's
mode,
true.
Oh my God. Now, I know it just happened the other way around before, but that was more like given away. In this case, KCM's got to be sitting there thinking, what did I even do?
Yeah.
Viri knows what he did. He gave it away. KCM didn't really give that away.
It's true. And though it is 5-5, 3 wins left on either side, assuming we're going to 8 and not 9. But KCM is that one civilian shot down as we step into Veranda.
Yeah, and that's going to become a big deal at some point soon, or at least it could. But again, I still feel like you got to keep up the aggression as sniper. I feel like the spies are still being too aggressive.
I'm tempted to agree.
It's hard to say, though, right? It really depends. It matters more from because not only does it matter from player to player now, but now it matters from game to game.
Yeah.
Your aggression level should ramp up or down as the games go on, not just as they go on, but also depending on the outcome of each one. So there are a lot of variables to consider. So admittedly, on my part, it's a little bit of a gut feel as to which one is too strong.
Good God, this game type is awesome. All right, so Veranda is up next. KCM on the spy side, so he's the one who picked this, and it's going to be any 4 of 8. KCM, I think, is just sick of these, like, mega behavior.
Right. Yeah. That that's not how you want to be playing Viri. You want to get away from that as soon as possible.
Yeah. And especially after that last loss on the spy side. So let's see what he does here. All his missions available in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Ooh, oh man, this is cool.
Yeah, very cool.
KCM as orange dress, which, well, we're playing against Viri, so
yeah, Viri's zoomed in.
Oh, the swap!
Yep. I don't know if he's even going to get seen. Viri was zoomed in, very concerned with what was happening on the left, but he comes back in time.
Couple of highlights.
I don't know if he memorized statues effectively or not. It's pretty hard to do on this map. Some people don't even bother. Some people have a shorthand that gives you a rough idea but doesn't catch every eventuality.
I think he knows.
Slappy,
I think
like
you have to know. Look at all these lowlights.
Yeah,
maybe
hard
not
to say. A lot of highlights, though.
That's true. There are a lot of highlights.
I really can't piece together Viri's thought process right now. He could be thinking many different things.
Indeed. I'm pretty sure KCM is quite suspicious at this point, though.
Yeah, I understand why he went for it, but I don't think it was quite the right move.
Yeah.
It looks like it's biting him here now. Even with all these highlights, the lowlights are actually more significant at this point, because he got quite a few of them. And given how few missions are done, I feel like KCM is probably significantly behind, especially with 2.5 minutes left.
I think the problem there was that he tried to slip in that single inspect while he was there. If he hadn't gotten that... Oh, and the bug gets seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind the decision to go to swap, but I don't think he got out of there quick enough, unfortunately.
Yeah. He went for that single inspect, because he knew he could get it in the one cycle, but he wasn't seen there, so the play was to just book it.
It's so tempting because there's such a huge advantage then at that point, because then when you go to statues later, you finish, and as far as they're concerned, it's your first visit. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, you've gotten away with 2 missions at that point.
Absolutely.
So very upsetting, but understandable why he went for it, because there was a lot of upside to that play, even if it didn't work
out. Viri up by 1 now, stepping in a veranda on the spy side. It is any 4 of 8. Once again, let's see what Viri can do on the spy roll in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Instant take control and direction change, as is Viri's way.
Yep. Just into a conversation. Not to anyone interesting, but the double agent does come and say hi. Surprised he didn't go for the BB there. Pretty much everyone he could see was in convo. Does go for it eventually. Lets off a ton of lowlights though on that one.
Yeah, that one cost him a lot. The green purloin though is looking pretty strong.
Indeed. And possibly because of the amount of lowlights he gave off, I think that purloin was pretty free. And KCM, I think, just saw the list gone, but it's hard to say. So. Green swap as well as KCM's on the other side. Man, Viri.
Is he going to get out of there in time? Yeah. Wow. Viri looking really good here. And remember, it's only 4. Usually play 5 on this setup. Yeah. Only 4. He's very close. He's 1 flirt away. I wonder if he's going to bother.
God, though, look at all these lowlights. And Viri himself gets lowlit just then.
Wow.
And that's pretty much going to be the game.
Unless he messes it up somehow, yeah. It looks like he gets 1 inspect in. I don't know if he's planning on inspecting again. I would assume he'd try to flirt first, but we'll see.
And when that statue swap, he was looking at statues on the other end of the map.
Yeah.
The really shot comes off, though, for KCM. Oh, no, on a civilian. So KCM is at the end of his rope now.
Yeah, now you really put the screws to him. Now, if you're Viri, you make it very. And look at the game mode. Here it is.
Pub any 1 of 7.
That's what you do. The second you get them to the point where any civilian shot ends the match, unless you're down in games, which is pretty hard to do if they already have if you know for a fact they've already shot 2 civilians. Yeah. Unless you're somehow down or it's very, very close. You can just do this. You can just lean on them and force them to make that impossible choice.
Oh my, oh my. And if it's going, if it is to 8 instead of to 9, then KCM has to win this game. And it's any 1 of 7 on pub. You don't win that game.
Yeah. This is, it's interesting to see the implications of the strategy played out.
Yes. Oh,
This is why it's not really 3. This is why it's 2.
Yeah. Whew.
Because you need that margin.
We were saying at the beginning that 3 seemed like a lot for 8 or 9 games, but we're getting proven wrong pretty quickly here.
Yeah. Yes.
Alright, so Viri on the spy roll in pub any 1 of 7. KCM on the sniper side in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
I think 3 would be a lot if we were playing totally balanced modes for Sniper and Spy, but we're actually seeing very Spy-friendly modes instead to try to exacerbate the differences in the game mode by making it more tempting to shoot while simultaneously more penalizing.
Indeed.
So I think under a normal game mode, 3 would be a lot, but because they're playing 4 of 8 at every opportunity or 3 of 4, it changes things a bit.
And Viri's playing for the flirts, too.
Yes. Yeah, he could just take his time.
Yeah.
He might not have to move the entire game.
He's in a weird spot in that CC, though. I don't think AI will go that far forward.
Yeah, it's one of the few ways you can actually give this away is by not hitting pads right, so you better get it right. Honestly, the real thing is here, do you want to go to statues? Do you want to just end it right now?
I think no. I think stay the hell away from statues.
Probably, but someone already went, so if you were going to shoot the first person, he would have done it already. Second might actually be more suspicious, but I feel like third ought to be safe.
Yeah. Who knows? I still think, as Spy, you just have to say, I'm not touching the statue. I've got so many ways to win. I do not need to put myself on the statue there.
Well, how about
Mission
this?
win is pending, though, as he goes for the delegate, which is a weird choice.
Well, it makes sense. Why not do a crash bug, or a white swap, or even a purloin? I mean, it takes immediately, so there's no downside. That's your mission, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but this isn't missions equals points. He still has 10 seconds. Purloin has gone off.
Right. He's not watching it that closely. Yeah. Okay. There it goes.
And there's the shot.
And
that's the game, ladies and gentlemen. Viri got his wish.
Yeah. There it is. And you see the implications of it there, too. You realize that it's not actually about avoiding 3. It's about not getting to 3. Because once you get to 3, the loss is almost assured unless you can afford to just give away the game. Unless you can afford to let them win the game. If he lets them win the game, then it's 8-5. At 8-5, you need to win 4 consecutive games.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. So basically, you can get yourself to 2 civilian.
It's basically 8-6. Let's be honest.
Right, but what's interesting about that is that once you get to 2 civilian shots, it's death unless the match is very, very close.
Yeah.
Because, then maybe you can afford to lose, or if you're in the lead even, because then you could afford to let them win their 1 of 7 game and just say, I'm not going to shoot anybody. Go ahead, free win. Here you go, and I'll pick the same game mode, and we'll see what happens. So it's really only a problem if you're behind. If you're behind and you get to that last shot, then it's game over.
Yeah.
Already. Unless you guess right, which,
Indeed.
There's no reason to think you will.
Yeah. Whew. That was intense. This is an awesome game mode, and I would love to see more of it played.
I'd love to see more of it. I'd love to see some tweaks. I feel like there's a few ways it could be a little better, maybe. But I want to see people continue to explore it.
Yeah.
Because I think they're pretty far into the meta already after just playing it twice.
Indeed. This is cool. All right. So, I have only been going for 45 minutes, and though I think that's going to be the end of the Spy Party cast, I'm actually going to stay on and play some Necrodancer, I think.
Sounds like a good idea. I hope people stick around and watch.
Indeed. So, is there anything I want to say before we go? We don't know yet what the date of the Grand Finals of the Summer Cup is going to be. With luck, I'll be able to cast it, but now that school is back up, I have a lot less time on my hands, so if it's on a Thursday evening, or it's on a weekend, or I should be able to do Friday evenings as well, then absolutely I will 100% cast it. Any other time, I'll see if I'm available.
Yep, hopefully we can make it work. There's only a couple times I'm not available as well. It'd be great to cast something live again.
Indeed.
But if you're not available, who knows? Maybe it'll be me. Maybe it'll be Slappy. We have no idea. But somebody will probably cast it somewhere.
Yeah.
And it should be very entertaining.
One can only hope. So that's gonna be it for anybody watching on the VODs. I am going to do the usual outro just for
archival purposes.
For the archive's sake. So. Thanks for everybody who came out to watch. Hope you stick around, and until next time, this is Toboshi and Warning Track. Signing off.